Good evening, everyone. This is Pastor Nelson Lee with the Agape Life-Cast. I'm here to bring you a special update on Hurricane Beryl and newly formed Tropical Depression number 3, which should become Tropical Storm Chris. Right now, we can see that Tropical Depression number 3 is in the western Gulf of Mexico, the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, and it is newly formed there. And winds are 35 miles an hour and pressure's down to 1,006. It's moving west at 12. Should be no threat to anyone except for the extreme eastern coast of Mexico there, maybe bring some heavy rains. But the real threat out there is Hurricane Beryl, which is a major hurricane. Maximum sustained winds are 130 miles an hour. And we're going to really take a good look at that. That is going to be something we need to pay attention to as we move into the holiday weekend, the holiday week of July 4th. And I know tensions will be elsewhere, but it's something that those who are in Louisiana and Texas and northern Mexico really need to be paying attention to. And right now, as we look at the 7-day forecast, we also have another area of interest that is out in the eastern Atlantic around 35 degrees west, and that is following right along the heels of Beryl. And there you can see what should be Tropical Storm Chris as it moves inland into eastern Mexico. Here's the track that is anticipated with Hurricane Beryl, and it's been pretty straightforward for the entire time. You can see towards the end there, it does weaken from major hurricane status as it goes into the central Caribbean and then the northwest Caribbean, and goes south of Jamaica and weakens as it moves across the Yucatan Peninsula into tropical storm status. So taking a look at Beryl right now, you can see it presents a very beautiful image here on IR satellite imagery. Classic major hurricane features. We've got good banding all around. It's a beautiful cleared out eye, and we can really see that as we get into the visible imagery here. A beautiful picture if you're a meteorologist. However, if you're in the Lesser Antilles down there, it's not a pretty picture. This is a very dangerous hurricane, and it is moving right towards you. Well, what are the reasons for this intensity that we have right now? One of the reasons is we can see that the oceanic heat content that Beryl is over is very high. It's extremely high, especially for this time of year. As you've probably heard, there has never been a hurricane form this far out this early. As far as we've been keeping records, we've never seen anything like this. And this does not bode well for this season. And I'll address that in a later video. But right now you can see that there's really good heat content. And what heat content is you can think of is octane. It's very high octane for the gas tank there. The water temperatures are plenty warm to maintain this all the way through its track. But there are other factors that would limit development, that could hinder its development, such as wind shear, dry air, and honestly, those are some wild cards down in the future that we just don't have a good handle on right now. So let's take a look at where Beryl is forecasted to move. And one of the things that we can do is look at where the ensembles are taking it. And what the ensembles are is, instead of one voice singing solo, we have a choir of voices singing. And the choir seems to be very much in unison and taking it through the central Caribbean and south of Jamaica. And then they start to kind of diverge our voices. But there seems to be a growing consensus that somewhere along northern Mexico, southern Texas, middle Texas coast, there are some outliers that are in Louisiana, but you can see that a lot of the voices are generally stacked somewhere between that central Mexican coast, northern Mexican coast, southern Texas, but this is still very far out. We're talking about the 8th of July here. We're still talking about 8 to 10 days away. And how's the trend been on this? Well, if we look back at the trend, as far as the what has happened over with the models, we can see that it is tracked a little further south than some of the models initially thought it would go, but they're still on track. Um, Pretty much, this hasn't changed because the high pressure that's dominating this hasn't changed. And then towards the end, they're wanting to kind of hook it, and I'm going to show you the reason for that. There is a very good reason for that. As we look at the models and the players coming up, we have a ridge of high pressure that's pretty much ensconced over the southeast United States, and right now it's sitting over northern Texas, and it's going to shift over the southeastern United States. However, at about the time where Beryl's going to have to either keep going to the left or make that break, there is going to be a weakness in the trough of low pressure over the central United States. Now the question is how much of a weakness? And if we look at the if we look at the models, we look at all the models that we have, we can see that every one of them is showing that weakness in the trough. The difference is some of them are showing the weakness to be a little stronger, such as the Japanese model over here on the far bottom right. And some of them are showing the weakness to not be as strong, such as the European model, the far bottom left. So that is the question: is just how strong is that ridge? And that is just a question that we can't answer right now. So the other question, of course, is what will the winds aloft be? Will it be experiencing any shear? And that is another fly in the ointment here. And right now, it appears that the winds aloft will be still favorable for some development, although the GFS is showing a little bit of shear over the system. And the European, let's see here, let me pull up the European. The European is kind of showing the same thing. So it's really a wait and see right now. And one thing also I want to show you is that the potential, the heat content potential for rapid intensification is still really high in the Northwest Caribbean Sea and also in the Gulf of Mexico. So if the upper level winds, which are forecasted to maybe be providing a little shear, if they're very notoriously difficult to forecast, if those do relax and it does build an upper level ridge over it and they become a little bit more favorable, there is the forecast for it to rapidly intensify, or the availability for it to rapidly intensify, I should say. So that is the update for now. I'll definitely keep you guys informed on any changes, any significant changes. You just need to be prudent. And that is the scripture that I want to leave you with. Proverbs 22:3 says, "The prudent see danger and take cover, but the simple keep going and suffer the consequences." And what the scripture advises is not being chicken little and think the sky is falling, but just pay attention and be aware of your surroundings and understand that there are some dangers to be had here, and start making preparations when that time does come. So thank you for joining the Agape Life-Cast. If you would, please like and subscribe, and may God bless you.